dungeons that we really liked, and we knew that players would like to go back to these dungeons, but we didn't want to just go back and just upgrade something in the dungeon or maybe change the flow. This is an entirely new dungeon, new art, new creatures, new boss fights, everything. You'll be able to get to this from Blackrock Spire. It's basically a dungeon it's full of Twilight's hammer. There's experiments going on down there. Deathwing, it's kind of like you could look at it as one of his a base that he has of operations, but outside of Grim Batal. And then a couple others here. We've got Grim Batal, like we mentioned. Grim Batal is going to have both a level up dungeon and it's going to have a raid. So we're going to cover both angles with Grim Batal. That's a place we really wanted to tell a lot of stories, so we figured we should do both. Skywall is also both a raid and a dungeon. And then last but not least, we are doing a couple new heroics. So these are going to be level 85 heroic dungeons that you'll be able to do, Dead Mines and Shadowfang Keep. And we'll be going back in here. Now they're going to use the art that's existing now, but we're going to do new fights, new creatures, new abilities, and it's basically going to be right where you expect a heroic level 85 dungeon to be.
Van Cleavier than ever before.
If you want more information on Dungeons and Raids, we're going to be doing a panel tomorrow. I think it's in this hall, the Dungeon and Raid panel, and we'll have a ton of info on these dungeons and a lot more. So now here's a couple, we grabbed just a few concept shots of some of the dungeons for you to check out. This is the Abyssal Maw. Here's a shot of a Sulfuring Keep in the Firelands. This is a shot of the inside of the Halls of Origination inside of Old Doom. And these are a couple shots of Grim Batal. And last, we're going to finish up with a little preview of the PvP that we're planning for Cataclysm, and Tom's going to tell you about that.
All right, so of course, to go along with all this new content, we've got a lot of new PvP content for everybody too. We have the Tol Barad PvP zone. So Tol Barad is an island off the coast of the Eastern Kingdoms. It's been referenced from time to time in Warcraft lore. What we know is that there's a prison here, and this prison sits on this island, and both the Horde and Alliance want control over it. So there's quite a bit to discover here. The kind of idea here is that it is a melding of the Wintergrass concept with the Isle of Kel'Danas concept. So the idea being that while you're there during the off-battle times, it behaves kind of like an Isle of Kel'Danas, where it's a daily quest hub for all kinds of daily quests, probably the main daily quest hub for the expansion. And then when the battle comes time to activate, kind of like Wintergrass, then players are going to fight for control. And that control will give players access to the actual Tol Barad prison, one of the instance wings within there. It will also open up new kind of like bonus daily quests for that side. Extra profitable daily quests. We also have the Battle for Gilneas Battleground, and the current plan is actually to have 3 battlegrounds with the expansion. So one of those things that we want to do in terms of adding more endgame content than we've had before is to add more battlegrounds than we've ever added in the past. So Battle for Gilneas is one of those. The idea being that players are going to be able to fight through the city and the streets of Gilneas City and take control of the different districts and fight it out. We also, of course, have some new arena maps. Numbers yet to be determined, but they will have some new ones. And finally, kind of the major gameplay feature for PvP as far as the expansion goes is the rated battlegrounds. So now for anybody out there that really enjoys doing battlegrounds but doesn't like the arena playstyle as much, you'll have the option to do the rated battlegrounds, and I'll talk more about these on the system panel. But you'll be able to do the rated battlegrounds to get your rating up and get the same access to the same types of gear that you can get through the arena system. And so that brings us to Q&A. Now, I don't know that we have much time for Q&A, but we do have a specific Q&A panel set aside